Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. We are at Thursday. Today is Thursday, February 13th. Before I go any further, let me play my theme music. All right, I love that song. Y'all know I got to do this every morning. You are tuned to the Madam President Morning Show. We do this every single day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Let me say that again. Monday through Friday. Sometimes I have the tendency to get my tongue tied, words messed up, but I'm working really hard on it. I actually have a speech coach. I haven't seen her in a while, but I'm just talking. But I just want to say happy Thursday. Thank you so much. In the words of Jay-Z, you can be anywhere in the world, but you are right here with me. And I appreciate that in a very glorious way. Where are you from? Where are you tuned in at this morning? Me personally, I'm in Atlanta. I am a Chicago native, born and raised, but I live in Atlanta. So, ladies and gentlemen, where you from? Where you at this morning? I hope to see my usual crew. I haven't seen a lot of names pop up as of yet. Just getting everybody in, waking up. Good morning, Alexis. All right, Memphis in the building. All right, Memphis. There's always something going on in Memphis. I get a lot of news stories surrounding what is happening in Memphis. You know how I do. Before we go any further, let me say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for waking us up this morning. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this day. We just ask for your continuous mercy, your grace, in your name we pray. Amen. All right, that's pretty. All right, Birmingham in the building. All right, Birmingham in the building. That is what's up. I saw this story. I want to go right into this story that I saw recently. With this family. There's a family, a Black family. They have about, I believe, 600 acres of land. And the court is trying to pretty much make them give up their land because they would like to use it for a railroad. The owners of the land, the family, have said, no, I do not want to give up the land. I do not give a damn that you all want to put a railroad through the land. That is none of my business. However, there has been a judge recently. I'll share the story with you because, as you know, I do not want you to take my word for it. I want you to see it for yourself. So here's the story right here. The Smith family owns 600 acres of land, which has been passed down in the family since 1920. A judge just ruled a railroad company could seize their land. The story reads, Blaine and Diane Smith were hurt, but unsurprised when a Georgia Superior Court judge ruled last week that a railroad company could seize their land despite their refusal to sell. For nearly 2 years, they have been fighting to stop Sandersville Railroad Company, a 130-year-old business, from building a 4.5-mile rail spur through a historically Black neighborhood in rural Sparta. The company initiated eminent domain, which is a process that allows the government to seize private property for public use. The proposed spur would cut through the parts of the property Blaine and his siblings inherited, which includes 600 acres acquired by his grandfather in the 1920s. Growing up, he farmed, fished, and hunted on the land. His family cultivated cotton, fruits, vegetables, and timber, and raised pigs, chickens, and cows. Not only has it been used to feed generations, but to pay for some family members' education as well. Do y'all hear what's going on? Do you hear this story? We talk about legacy. We talk about wealth. We talk about land and feeding ourselves. This family has done that. This family has done that. They ain't starting no GoFundMe page. They have established themselves as a efficient and substantial family that are taking care of themselves and their family needs through the land that they inherited from their grandfather in the 1920s. They didn't sell it for a hit of crack. They didn't sell it or lose it to a gambling game, because they used to do that to us too back in the day. They used to just come and say, hey, man, and get you to gamble. And a lot of times, Black men would always lose against a room full of white men in the first place. When it came to gambling, you couldn't beat them. So that's how they used to steal some of our land. So anyways, I want to continue reading this story to you. So basically, the landowners say they won't be discouraged from the ruling. The Institute for Justice, which represents them, is appealing the decision to the Georgia Supreme Court. They say that we're going to fight till we can't fight anymore. Diane said, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. She said, my grandmother used to say, no stone unturned. So you keep unturning and unturning. When I tell you, so let's just talk about eminent domain. The construct or the concept of eminent domain just really means that, oh, no one's living here. No one, it's not useful. But they always find it eminent domain in our spaces. Let me build a railroad in between the hills of Hollywood and see how you feel about that. This is eminent domain. Don't nobody need no big ass house that got 17 rooms. You got 2 people living in it. This is eminent domain. Get rid of it. How about that? But because it's ours, and what makes me so disappointed about this is because we tell people, do what's right. This is what we tell people. We tell Black folks, you got to do what's right. Do what's right. This family has done what is right. You have the land. You pay the taxes on the land. It's yours. Have you been to Sparta, Georgia? I'm sure you have not. All that to say that, the ruling. This is what Farrakhan was telling you all about the system. He said that when the judge is a white supremacist, when the coroner is a white supremacist, when the DA is a white supremacist, when the prosecutor is a white supremacist, when the cop is a white supremacist, when the educator is a white supremacist, you will find yourself in this loophole. So how do you get over this kind of thing? How do you work your way through a system that is nonstop? It's nonstop. I'm coming at you. When you have a judge that's in favor of the railroad company for 130 years, the same judge who is in favor of deconstructing a Black family's wealth, we will never see what is supposed to be a form of righteousness. The judge is incapable of being righteous. The judge is incapable of being fair. So that's one of the reasons that I love, Black folks in our sense of spirituality, because the Creator, God, is fair. God is not a white supremacist. God is not an unfair judge. Okay. So that's one of the reasons that, despite all of what may come around in this particular environment, the Creator is not the same. You know what, Paul? Paul makes a good point. Paul says, please stop using and saying white supremacy. That's like saying we're inferior to them, and we're not. So I agree. I definitely believe that the form of white supremacy, saying it, it's not a healthy dialogue. However, out of habit, it comes out that way. I know some people say the supremacy. In fact, I wish we could create another word to express what it is exactly. So no, you're not wrong, Paul. You're right. Um, you're not wrong. I want you guys to do not forget, this is the Madam President Morning Show. And this is the Madam President Morning Show. And this is on the FlyNubianMoney.com network. I do this every Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And you should text Queens to 87948, because if you want to get your money up, this is the first place to start. If you want to get your mind up, this is the first place to start. FlyNubianMoney.com and text Queens. I will run a clip for you as well. The clip that I will run for you is a clip of the Smith family on their land talking to the news segment, sharing what is happening with their lands. This is what the clip is right here.
Less than 2% of Black farmers nationwide.
My father farmed this land almost all of his life. My grandfather farmed it most of his life. He bought it back in the 1920s. During that time, he raised cotton, corn, peas, all kinds of vegetables. But it's still in the Smith family. Not one piece of it has gotten away.
Until this September, state leaders decided parts of the Sparta land are no longer theirs.
It's my property. You know, you don't have the right to take.
But a private company does have the right to take it, according to the unanimous vote from the Georgia Public Service Commission. The agency, comprised of 5 elected officials, oversees eminent domain. Eminent domain, the right of a government or its agent to appropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. In Georgia, the process starts by first condemning the site. The Georgia PSC members agreed private company Sandersville Railroad could legally condemn 9 properties in Sparta, including parts of the Smiths, for the company's Hanson Spur project, a 4.5-mile spur connecting raw material producers to the CSX rail line in Hancock County. Essentially, hauling rocks that be used to build concrete. The company argues the train project will improve infrastructure. But the Smiths feel railroaded.
If you listen to the railroad folks, they say you're keeping your land. We just take a little piece of it. To me, we've got somebody who's coming through it like they are. They're devaluing it. They're defacing it. They're creating hazards through it.
They are just one of at least a dozen local eminent domain cases in recent years, from Atlanta to Newton County. Current statistics are few and fragmented, but Atlanta News First Investigates found nationwide data. A 2007 study revealed when eminent domain was used for private development, it most often impacted areas where more than half of the community was made up of people of color. Nearly half of the area's population sat below the poverty line. In the city of Sparta, where the developers are building the railroad, census records show 51% of residents live in poverty. The median income at $22,000.
We're here in a county that really needs new opportunities, new job growth, new tax base.
The railroad company president, Ben Charbutton.
Have an annual impact of $1.5 million.
That could make sense for a struggling town. It's how the company has pitched the project to residents. However, Georgia law states economic development is not a justifiable reason to take property.
It really is not supposed to be factored into an eminent domain case.
Well, they go hand in hand. I talk about jobs because that's what really matters to folks.
Charbutton says the train would only travel 1 round trip per day, 5 days a week during daylight hours, that it would not be a nuisance to landowners.
They feel like you guys are robbing.
Can we just say that? Why would you think that I believe you? It's just going to come through here once a day. And, I don't give first of all, I don't get into business with liars. I don't get into business with people that's going to steal my property from me and then think that I'm supposed to believe you. No. Find another route. Take it through your grandmother's house. Take it through your cousin's house, but not mine. How about that? So this is one of the things that I just really, it bothers me so deeply. A lot of people are saying, how can we fight? I'm going to do a video on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should. I'm going to try to figure out what are the steps, how do they want people to support? The reality is, this family is doing the part that they deem to be accurate, which is they're going to court. They are, they're getting public awareness associated to the case. But you know the story, right? You know the story. You asking an unjust system for justice. So anyways, we are in the process of supporting, right now we're sharing the story, we're talking about it. That is the support, sometimes the length in which it goes. Now, legal fees, we don't talk about this, but the legal fees, the court is a money maker. It's a cash cow. It's going to milk these people. How long can you go to court before you just start to feel financially depleted? Not everybody can do that. So this is why some people don't want to go to court. They feel like, I can't afford it. So, people who can't afford to go to court, that's a blessing, and like I said, they have the support. The company that's representing them is fighting for them for the purpose of, they're trying to find the loophole. I want to tell you that I rode through the city of Atlanta. It's nothing but abandoned houses left and right in the city of Atlanta. So, there's all kinds of places where you can stamp eminent domain and start making some form of progress. But the interest is 100% what's going to pay them money. When money is involved, you better believe a colonizer will do nothing at ensuring that they get what they want. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm going to play the next clip for you really quickly. I wanted you to see this clip of Oprah Winfrey. She's talking about her mother. This is a very interesting clip, and I think this is important because sometimes Black girls and their mothers don't always have the best relationship, and I want you to see it.
It was my mother, and I'd been asked to come to church to give all these accolades about my mother. And I couldn't think of one thing. I was listening to other people tell stories of their mother. This girl told a story of how her mother would make lunch, especially in the rain. She would pack it in a special lunchbox, and she would put their galoshes with those little yellow boots at the front door. And then she'd be home to take them off. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have one memory. I don't have one single thing. And so when it came time for me to speak, I thought, well, what do I actually have to be grateful for? She didn't abort me. She did the best that she knew. The best that she knew was not enough to feed what I needed, was not enough to make me feel whole, was not enough to make me feel valued or seen or important to her. It was not. But it was the best that she could do. And I gave up the hope that it could have been anything other than what she had. I remember I was being asked.
One of the reasons I wanted to share a video like this is because a lot of times when people think that people are extremely wealthy, they think that they don't have any pain. People feel like, oh, people got money, they don't have no problems. People got money and they got problems. People who have money, they may not have financial problems, but they have problems like everybody else. They got issues. They got times where they feel low. They have times where they remember, things, not going right. Oprah Winfrey, mother, had a very difficult upbringing herself, but most of all, she used to have Oprah Winfrey sleeping on the back porch. Oprah Winfrey's mother was a maid, and the woman that she worked for was racist, and she told Oprah Winfrey that she told Oprah Winfrey's mother that, your dark-skinned daughter can't sleep in this house, and they had her sleeping on the back porch. She couldn't come into the house. So the mother had some, fighting in this system, being a part of this system, especially during that period of time. there's a lot of psychological warfare that's happening. Could you imagine having a child trying to survive and somebody tell you, yeah, you can work for me. I don't like you, but you can work for me. And the kid that you got, you know, she can't come in my house. Huh? That don't even, we can't even fathom, we can't even understand and comprehend how to navigate a life like that. So all that to say that in these particular moments, you know, we have women, grown women. Oprah Winfrey is a 50-year-old woman, which means that sometimes if you have not taken the time to do the healing, taking the time to come face to face with the troubles that you have with your parents, you know, it will always have a soft spot in your heart. Too, just even telling the story, it becomes sensitive, you know, going back into time with our parents. All that to say, you know, and figuring out a way to forgive our parents. Healing, I would like to leave with this concept as it relates to figuring out healthy relationship dynamics with parents who have disappointed us. Healing is a personal responsibility. We've been taught that everybody is going to be responsible or have to say they're sorry to us in order for us to heal. It's not true, and it's not going to happen. That's that. I got another video that I'll show you before I close out the show. That's just first and foremost. Here's another video. This is my good sister Nora. She's really good.
Going on while you're over there stewing in it and don't want to forgive someone who hurt us because we almost feel like we're letting them off the hook, especially if they didn't apologize. But here's the thing I've learned. Forgiveness is letting someone off the hook and realizing it was you the entire time. Because that person probably ain't even thinking about what they did. Like they're sleeping well at night. They are not thinking about you and what you got going on while you're over there stewing in it and you're bitter and you're angry and they've gone on with their life. And so what forgiveness does, I believe, is it doesn't necessarily give a person a pass, but what it does do is it releases your future from the pain of your past. That's what it does. It recognizes that this thing hurt. It should have never happened, but it did. And I also know that this person was probably doing the best they could under the circumstances they had. I got hurt and maybe they even meant to hurt me. But the truth is I don't have to hold on to that. And here's the other thing. Just because I forgive you, that doesn't mean I have to give you access to me. If you're unrepentant, if you are the type of person that feels like you did nothing wrong, I can forgive you and never see you again. And that's okay. And a lot of times we don't want to forgive someone who hurt us because we almost feel like we're letting them off the hook, especially if they didn't apologize. But here's the thing. All
right. So she gave some really good advice about forgiveness and, you know, moving on when it's time. And I think that, you know, we should take that into consideration. I see the conversation is still happening as it relates to the family, the Smith family. I just want to let you all know that we do this every Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. This is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com, flynubianmoney.com. If you want to get your money up, this is where you start. You should text Queens to 87948. If you want to keep up with Madam President, text Madam to 87948. Also, if you want to support Madam President, feel free to support the Freedom Company. This is my store. You can, all these items that are on the store came out of my head, out of my brain. So if you want to be supportive, this is a good place to start for Madam President. I would like to say thank you so much. I appreciate you spending time with me today. Follow me on all the social media platforms. I am one Madam President on Instagram, Twitter, and everything else. All right, guys, have a good day. I'm out.